I know what you are thinking. That sound again. A tiny chirp somewhere in the dark. Not outside the window. Not in the grass. Not in the garden where it belongs. Inside your house. Maybe it starts from the basement. Maybe from behind the refrigerator. Maybe from a corner of the laundry room where you never really look. And at first it is almost harmless. One small sound. One small insect. One small interruption in the middle of the night. But then it keeps going. Again. And again. And again. And before long, your first thought becomes very simple. How did it get in here? And your second thought becomes even simpler. How do I make it stop? Most people see a house cricket as nothing more than a noisy little intruder. Something that slipped through a door. Something that needs to be removed. Something that does not belong. But before you reach for a shoe, before you spray the corner, before you decide that this tiny creature is the problem, I want you to stop for 1 second. Because the cricket in your house may be telling you something. Not with intention, not with language, not because it knows you are listening, but because animals do not appear in places for no reason. They follow conditions. They follow shelter. They follow moisture. They follow warmth. They follow food. And when a cricket chooses to stay inside your home, it may have found something that you have not noticed yet. Tonight we are going to look at the house cricket differently, not as a harmless singer, not as a terrible pest, but as a small sign from the hidden life of your home, a creature that can reveal moisture, gaps, dark spaces, food sources, and quiet changes happening in places you rarely check. Let us start with the sound, because that is usually the first thing people notice. Long before they see the cricket, long before they know where it is hiding, they hear it, a thin, steady chirp in the dark. For some people that sound feels peaceful, a reminder of summer nights, open windows, warm air, grass moving softly outside. But inside a house, the same sound feels different. It feels misplaced. It feels too close. It feels like something small has crossed a boundary, and in a way it has. The familiar chirp of a cricket is usually made by a male. He makes it by rubbing his wings together. One wing has a rough edge. The other acts like a scraper. When they move against each other, they create the sound that humans have recognized for thousands of years. He is not singing for you. He is not trying to keep you awake. He is calling to another cricket. He is announcing that he is alive, that he has found a place safe enough to stop, that he has enough energy to call. That somewhere nearby, there may be a mate, and that detail matters, because an insect does not waste energy calling from a place where it is about to die. A cricket that chirps inside your home has usually found at least some of what it needs to survive. Shelter, warmth, a place to hide during the day, and often moisture. To us, a basement is just a basement. A garage is just a garage. A bathroom is just a bathroom. But to a cricket, your home is not a house, it is a landscape. The space beneath the washing machine is a cave. The gap under a door is a road. The shadow behind a storage box is a shelter. The damp corner near a pipe is a water source. The crumbs beneath a cabinet are food. The crack behind a baseboard is a hidden path. And the places you almost never notice are exactly the places a cricket understands best. Crickets are built for a world of shadows. Their long antennae are not decorations. They are tools. They touch the ground. They touch the air. They sense objects before the cricket reaches them. They help the cricket move through darkness with surprising confidence. That is why a cricket can vanish so quickly when you turn on the light. It is not magic. It is not panic without direction. The cricket has already mapped the small world around it. It knows where the gap is. It knows where the box meets the wall. It knows where the floor changes texture. It knows which spaces are too narrow for you, but wide enough for its body. By the time you see it, it has usually been living around you longer than you think. Now here is the part that changes everything. A cricket inside your home is rarely just about the cricket. It is about the conditions that allowed it to stay. One cricket may simply be an accident, a door left open at night, a package brought inside, a crack near a window, a warm autumn evening when insects are searching for shelter. That happens. Nature finds openings. But if you hear crickets often, if you find them in more than one room, if the sound returns night after night, then the question should not only be, how do I get rid of the cricket? The better question is, What is my home providing? Because crickets do not stay where survival is difficult. They need places to hide. They need enough humidity to avoid drying out. They need food. They need warmth when the outside world becomes colder. And when your home offers those things, it becomes more inviting than you realize. A small leak beneath a sink can create a damp zone that supports insects for weeks. A pile of cardboard in a basement can become a quiet daytime shelter. Pet food left out overnight can feed far more than the pet it was meant for. Loose crumbs beneath an appliance can become a tiny buffet. A gap under a door can become a nightly entrance. And clutter along a wall can create a protected highway for small creatures moving in the dark. None of these things has to mean your home is dirty. That is important. A cricket in the house is not a moral judgment. It is not proof that you have failed at housekeeping. It is simply an animal responding to opportunity. Nature does not ask whether a space looks clean to human eyes. It asks whether life can survive there. Is there moisture? Is there shelter? Is there food? Is there safety? If the answer is yes, something will eventually notice. Sometimes that something is a cricket, and sometimes the cricket is only one visible piece of a much larger indoor ecosystem. Because crickets do not live alone in the hidden spaces of a home, the same conditions that attract them can also attract other small creatures. Ants, silverfish, carpet beetles, spiders, cockroaches, moths, tiny flies. Different homes attract different visitors, but the pattern is often the same. Where there is moisture, life gathers. Where there is food, life gathers. Where there are cracks and protected spaces, life gathers. The cricket may simply be the one you can hear. That is why its sound matters. A cockroach can move behind a wall in silence. A silverfish can slide beneath a box without a sound. A pantry moth can hide in dry food before you know it is there. But a cricket announces itself. It gives the hidden world a voice. That voice can be annoying. It can keep you awake. It can make a quiet room feel restless. But it can also become useful, because once you hear it, you know where to look. Follow the sound, not to punish the cricket, but to understand the space. Is the room humid? Is there a leak? Are there boxes against the wall? Are there gaps near the floor? Is food being stored loosely? Are there old fabrics, paper, cardboard, dust, organic material, places where small insects could feed or hide? The cricket did not create these conditions. It found them, and that is the difference most people miss. The cricket is not always the problem. The cricket is often the messenger. Of course, that does not mean you want crickets living in your house. You do not have to love them. You do not have to enjoy hearing them at midnight. You do not have to pretend that the sound is pleasant when you are trying to sleep. But killing the cricket without understanding why it stayed is like turning off an alarm without checking what triggered it. The noise stops, but the condition remains. The gap is still there. The moisture is still there. The crumbs are still there. The hidden shelter is still there. And sooner or later, another insect will find it. Maybe another cricket. Maybe something less musical. Maybe something much harder to notice. This is where the useful response begins. If you find one cricket once, gently remove it if you can. A cup and a piece of paper are usually enough. Take it outside. Release it away from the door, and let that be the end of the encounter. But if you keep hearing crickets, start with moisture. Check the basement. Check the bathroom. Check under sinks. Check around the washing machine. Check near the water heater. Check the crawl space if your home has one. Crickets and many other insects do better where the air is damp. A small leak may not look dramatic, but to a creature the size of a cricket, it can change everything. Then look for openings, door sweeps that no longer touch the floor, window screens with small tiers, gaps around pipes, cracks near the foundation, spaces under garage doors. These are not just holes, they are invitations. Every night, small animals test the edges of human homes. They follow warmth, they follow scent, they follow air movement, they follow darkness. And if there is a path, some of them will use it. Then look at storage. Cardboard boxes directly against basement walls, old newspapers, stacks of fabric, clutter beneath shelves, forgotten bags. These areas create darkness and safety. They also hold moisture. They give insects places to rest during the day. Raising items off the floor, Reducing clutter, sealing food, and keeping storage areas dry can change the entire environment. The goal is not to wage war against every small creature. That never works for long. The goal is to make your home less rewarding to them, less damp, less open, less cluttered, less full of hidden food. When the conditions change, the visitors change with them. Crickets are not mysterious in that way. They are honest. They go where life is possible, and they leave when life becomes difficult. There's another reason to think carefully before killing them. House crickets can damage fabrics or stored materials in some situations, especially if they appear in large numbers. So they are not perfect little heroes, but they are also not villains. They are scavengers. They feed on bits of plant material, small organic matter, food scraps, sometimes soft fabrics, sometimes other tiny remains. In the outdoor world, they are part of the cleanup crew. They break things down. They become food for birds, frogs, lizards, spiders, and many other animals. They are woven into a much larger chain of life. The strange thing is that human homes sometimes borrow pieces of that chain, without meaning to. A basement becomes a cave. A porch light becomes a moon. A laundry room becomes a damp shelter. A pantry becomes a food source. And suddenly, a creature that evolved for the outside world is living beside us, not because it understands our lives, but because our buildings create small versions of the habitats it already knows how to use. That is the quiet lesson of the house cricket. It reminds us that a home is not sealed away from nature. No matter how clean, no matter how modern, no matter how carefully built, every house touches the living world. Air moves through it. Moisture moves through it. Warmth escapes from it. Smells drift out of it. Light leaks from it, and small creatures respond. Most of the time, they remain invisible, but sometimes one of them sings. And when that happens, we have a choice. We can hear only an annoyance, or we can hear information. The next time a cricket chirps somewhere inside your home, pause before you react. Listen long enough to find where the sound is coming from. Look at that space with new eyes, not with fear, not with disgust, but with curiosity. What is here that a cricket can use? What is here that I have not noticed? What is this small animal showing me about the place where I live? Maybe the answer is nothing serious. Maybe it is one cricket that slipped through a door. Maybe it will be gone tomorrow. But maybe it is a damp corner, a broken seal, a hidden gap, a forgotten food source, a sign that the quiet parts of your home need attention. And if that is true, the cricket did not bring the problem. It revealed it, that tiny sound in the dark, the one that keeps you awake, the one that makes you search the room, the one that feels so out of place inside your walls, may be doing something more useful than you thought. It may be pointing toward the exact conditions that other pests would use in silence. That is not something to ignore, and it is not always something to kill. Sometimes, it is something to understand. Have you ever heard a cricket inside your home and had no idea where it was hiding? Or found more crickets than you expected in a basement, garage, laundry room, or kitchen? Tell me about it in the comments. I read every single one, and often, the best stories on this channel begin with the small things people notice in their own homes. If today was the day that a sound you once found annoying became a clue about the hidden life around you, then something just shifted in the way you hear your home. That shift is exactly what this community is built on. I will see you in the next one.